Welcome to fall, y'all. Even more important, spooky month here at Crossing Kin. All this month, our content is going to be filled with things that get you ready for that wonderful celebration on October 31st that is known as Halloween.
Woo.
Yeah, we don't have ghosts here in the Crossing King garage. There's not been any tragedy that's happened other than just it getting piled high. But other than that, there's no ghosts in our closet. There's no skeletons in our closet. There's no ghosts here in the Crossing King family.
If you've been part of Cross the Kin for a little while, then you already know that we've done Spooky Month for the last 2 years. There is a playlist on Cross and Kin, so go and check those out. We've got at least 4 lovely offerings for your Halloween
And
delights.
we hope that this sets you up for the wonderful celebration and the trick or treating and the Great
Yeah,
Pumpkin Charlie Brown. I'm sorry.
we've got a
And arsenic and old lace and all the other crazy stuff that people watch during this time of the year.
whatever your spooky delights may be, go and spooky, just be safe.
Just be safe.
But today we are embracing the spooky as much as we possibly can, and we are counting down 13 iconic ghosts from film and television.
Now, here's one of the things. Let us qualify this. These are films that Kristen and I are familiar with.
Yeah.
We typically don't watch the horror genre as a whole. We are familiar because, let's face it, Freddy and Jason, they're part of our fabric anymore. But we've not, we've just not sat through Nightmare or Halloween or
Friday.
Friday the 13th. We don't do that. Now we don't bust on anybody that does. If that's your vibe, go for it. Enjoy. But that's just we
It's not
don't
our
know.
thing.
We just don't know.
So
It's not our
if
thing.
there are ghosts in particular horror movies that you guys adore, please put them down in the comments. Just know that these are ghosts that Dad and I are actually familiar with and
Right.
can speak to. We didn't want to throw ghosts on a list and just say this is a ghost, this is where they're from, this is who played them. Good day.
We like to have a little commentary in case you haven't noticed.
But all right, are you ready, Daddy?
Let's do it.
All right, hold on. It might get a little scary. All right. Although we are starting off with probably the friendliest of ghosts, we have at number 13 Casper, best known as Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Yeah, Casper's been around since before I was a kid.
Yeah.
Casper's been around as an animated cartoon for many, many, many years. They actually came out, I want to say, 90s with a live action television
Starring
movie.
Christina Ricci.
Christina Ricci, who likes all things macabre. You just go look at her portrayal in the Addams Family, all of the Addams families. So it's one of those. Casper is a friendly ghost, and for cartoons at the time, especially in the 50s and 60s, that was a great, great way of portraying a ghost. Casper is benevolent. Casper is kind. Casper is looking out for the good of all of those around him, and
Yeah.
typically has as an antagonist. I think they're
I think
brothers,
they're his uncles. I think they're
uncles.
meant to
Okay,
be his uncles,
and they're
or at
trying to
least they
bring him to the
bring
dark side.
they're not going to succeed. Casper is a pure soul.
Casper's a good
He,
good
he's a
ghost.
he's a good one. All right. At number 12, we have the Hatbox Ghost from Haunted Mansion. Now, we're probably talking more about the more recent Haunted Mansion, just because the Hatbox Ghost was actually the villain in that. But I mean, the Hatbox Ghost has been around for as long as the Haunted Mansion ride has been around.
Right, and this goes back to the original Haunted Mansion in Disneyland. I don't remember there being one in Disney World. I've never been
We
to
rode,
Disneyland, so
we rode the Haunted Mansion ride when we went to Disney in
okay.
Florida,
So,
so there is one in Florida.
but
That's
it calls back. And the Hatbox Man wasn't as prevalent, I don't think, in the Eddie Murphy version
he was
of
there.
Haunted Mansion
He
as
was
he was in the
there.
newest one.
I think he was
Um,
there, but I don't think he was the villain.
we totally suggest you go and watch the newest Haunted Mansion.
With
It is
Rosario Dawson and
exactly. It's adorable.
it's wonderful. Like, if you can't tell, we really do like the Haunted Mansion, and the Hatbox Ghost was a really good creepy villain.
It was a creepy villain,
And I
very
think
creepy
Jared
villain.
Leto played it.
Yes, that's correct.
Which
Joker from the Batman
no, not the Batman from Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad. Sorry.
No, you're good. But yeah, that just made the Hatbox Ghost even more creepy. moving right along to number 11, we have Blackbeard's Ghost from the film Blackbeard's Ghost. Daddy?
This I saw this in the theater. Mom and we didn't go to the movies very often. We had a small movie theater in Ball Knob when I was raised. It was called The Joy, and it was right by the railroad tracks, but it was a joy to go and see. I will never forget I think I was 12, Mom and Dad carried to see Jaws. I had my hands over my eyes most of the movie, especially anytime that movie music started. John Williams, we applaud you for the score, but it's scary as all get out.
But Blackbeard's Ghost.
Blackbeard's Ghost, we saw at the Joy, and the great Peter Ustinov plays Blackbeard in this film. He was a character actor.
He's a voice in something I've seen, and I cannot place it right now.
He has been in. I mean, go look at his IMDb. He is one of those actors that had some starring roles, but they never broke him out as an actor. He plays a lot of supporting roles in a lot of different things. A British actor who is absolutely just. I love him as an actor. But you pair him up with another one of my favorite actors, Dean Jones.
Remind me which of them plays Blackbeard's titular ghost?
Peter Ustinov played Blackbeard.
Okay.
Dean Jones was a similar character he played in Herbie.
Okay.
In The Love Bug.
That's just what Dean Jones played.
The ghost was the premise was beautiful. He was haunting a saloon that Dean Jones had come into. It's available on Disney Plus to stream.
Was it a sea shanty type?
It was a sea shanty on the coast.
I was about to say, you called it a saloon.
And Blackbeard has come back to look for his treasure. I mean, it's a piratey type ghost type. Ustinov was a stage actor, classically trained stage actor, and you could tell as he is as his role is imposed on the Dean Jones, who has been television and movie trained. Wow, it's at times you're like, this really isn't, and then it's times that you're just busting out laughing. Very, very good. I love the movie Blackbeard's Ghost.
All right, on to number 10. We have the Force Ghosts. Now, this is Star Wars we're talking, so these are ghosts that basically are just projections of the Force. Usually it's Obi-Wan. He's probably the most well-known Force ghost. But I know Anakin and Yoda both have ghost forms, and Qui-Gon. Kanan kinda gets one, but it's only around Hera, and she doesn't even see him. It's more like she can feel his presence.
Right.
But we see him in Force Ghost form.
And the reason they're on our list is Force Ghosts play a role in the Star Wars universe. And if you're curious about more of that, go and check out any of our Star Wars months. We've had one of those every year that we've done it. Usually in May, because May the 4th be with you.
But the Force Ghosts are very interesting because nobody really knows how they work. Yoda went through like a full 4-episode arc in the 6th season of Clone Wars, kind of studying it. And I'm not certain if I fully understood it, but it's still a very interesting concept. It allowed them to keep Alec Guinness around, for the original trilogy. And there's so many like fun little memes of like, why wasn't Anakin's Force Ghost just there beating on Kylo Ren? Like, what are you thinking?
Well, also one thing
during the sequel trilogy
that I hadn't considered until just now, you never see a Sith Force Ghost.
That's because they're not one with the Force.
Well, and maybe that's so, but I think it's interesting that you only and like Kristen said, Obi-Wan is the one that you see the most, and so and they propel the narrative along.
Well, we also do see Luke and Leia after. I want to say that the way you become a Force Ghost is by becoming one with the Force. I mean, because Obi-Wan just kind of spirited away. It wasn't Vader's strike that killed him. Same with Luke and Leia. They just both kind of spirited away. And Yoda. I think Qui-Gon and Kanan are the only Force Ghosts we know that we
actually see their death.
That we see their death and they don't immediately like spirit away.
Right.
So yeah, that might be how it works. If you know how Force Ghosts work, please write a whole essay down in the comments below. All right. At number 9, we have Beetlejuice.
Kristen really didn't want to include this on the list,
Didn't.
but I think Michael Keaton and his portrayal, this is such a different role for Michael Keaton that you have to applaud, because I want to say he came out of Mr. Mom and into Beetlejuice, and um,
I think he did Batman. Did he do Batman before
Batman,
Beetlejuice?
he did, and that's how he and Tim Burton got together.
Yeah.
And so it's Kristen's not a fan,
I'm not a fan of Tim Burton. I
but
love Michael Keaton, but I don't get Tim Burton's style. I just don't.
I love it.
I
I love it. I absolutely
Beetlejuice
love it.
freaked the crap out of me when Dad and I watched it several years ago. I've not seen it since. See it again.
And the sequel, Beetlejuice, is out there. But I
Don't
don't
say it
think,
a third time.
right, don't say it a third time. But I think Michael Keaton plays a very small role. We haven't seen
We
it.
don't know.
I'd like to see it. But it just, the collaboration between Michael Keaton and Tim Burton in this is iconic. And that's the reason why we've included so far up our list, is because you say the word Beetlejuice and everybody knows exactly what you're talking about.
Part of the reason I didn't want him on the list is that I view him as a little bit more of a demon than a ghost because that's how he
That's
acts.
fair. That's fair.
But I mean, he is technically a ghost. They call him a ghost. I don't like it, but it's facts, so he qualifies. Beetlejuice just gives me the willies.
And let's move on.
Let's move on. Let's move on to a much more charming ghost. We have nearly headless Nick from the Harry Potter franchise, as played by John Cleese of Monty Python fame. I would like to point out that the Harry Potter world, specifically Hogwarts, has a myriad of ghosts. Every house has a very specific ghost that goes along with it, and there are a number of other ghosts that dwell within Hogwarts.
Well, you're talking about a wizarding world. And so anytime you visit that realm, you have to imagine that ghosts would be a part of the property. So, I mean, it's just as you watch the Harry Potter movies, you continually see these images and everything like that.
Just random ghosts floating by in the background.
And it's just commonplace. It's not a deal or anything. It is for us because that's not our normal. But for the residents of Hogwarts, it is a normal type thing. Go back to John Cleese, comedic genius. He came on and played this straight.
Oh, he
Very
was
good.
brilliant. The most Cleesy thing he does is the gag with the head, and that's just part of Nearly Headless Nick's character.
And part of here's another thing, and you may not realize this, but he comes along and plays Q in the Timothy Dalton, no, Pierce Brosnan,
yes,
versions of James
in the
Bond.
later ones.
So, and he does it straight. It is perfect. It is not John Cleese. It is him as a straight actor, and he just shows his diversity in that. But this role, I think he does a beautiful job of, and it's his visage that comes across as.
Nick is expanded in the books, and I know we're mostly just talking film and television, but we're going to talk a little bit about the book stuff that some of these ghosts come from as well. While Nick is not a huge role after like the second or third book, maybe, we do still hear from him every now and then because he's Gryffindor's house ghost. So he's often just kind of floating around saying hi to our main trio. And it's nice to have a little comforting presence like Nick there. Up next, we have Sam Wheat, or as most of you will probably know him, the Patrick Swayze ghost from Ghost. I mean, this film is iconic. It's literally called Ghost. I will be very honest. I don't fully remember the plot of Ghost. The only thing I honestly remember is that Patrick Swayze dies and then haunts his girlfriend and Whoopi Goldberg for whatever reason.
Whoopi Goldberg, Demi Moore, Patrick Swayze.
Okay, I always forget that it's Demi in the
movie. It the three brightest stars in Hollywood at that time. Go back and watch this film. It's a love story. Scene. It's more than the pottery scene, and so it's more. It really shows. Whoopi does a good job showing her comedic ability.
Between this and her role in Star Trek, those were probably her best roles.
She needs to get off The View and get back to Hollywood doing these kinds of roles. And it again, the play between her and Patrick Swayze, the play between her and Demi Moore, It is an exquisite film, and it's one of those. It's a romantic film. Okay, so don't go into it thinking that you're just gonna, see, woo, and there it is, so to speak. But it's a romantic film. It it probably is better suited for Valentine's Day than it is Halloween, but it is titled Ghosts, and it is iconic.
All right, before we continue, I do feel the need to make a real quick mention. He didn't quite make our list, but Slimer is also an iconic ghost. I'm wearing the Ghostbusters shirt. It felt wrong to not include him, but 13 was our number and he was at number 14. So I just wanted to give a real quick shout out to our boy Slimer before we moved right
There are
along.
several things we could have done as honorable mentions. Of
Mhm.
course, there's the television show Ghost that is a reimagining of the one
Of
from
the
Britain,
BBC show.
and we've watched a couple of episodes of it and liked it, but it just didn't catch us, and so it's entering its next
It's entering
season.
its next
It's
season.
been
Yeah.
renewed for the next season. A great comedy that the first couple of 2 or 3 episodes we were okay, but it wasn't that thing that hooked us.
But yeah, there's so many ghost things out there. Like Dad said, we could probably fill this list with the ghosts from Ghosts, both shows.
Right.
But we just wanted to give a real quick shout out to those guys. They were just barely off the list. Again, 13 was our number.
And we love the Marvel universe too, and there's Ghost Rider, there's all kinds of spirits in that realm. And I would be remiss if I did not mention one of my favorite all-time cartoons, Space Ghost.
All
Moving
right,
on.
now on with the countdown. Thank you for indulging our little pause there. At number 6, we have the King of the Dead from Return of the King, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. This guy, the backstory here is that he was a king with an army who made a promise to the King of Gondor that he would come and aid him. He did not. So King of Gondor cursed him. So once he and all of his buddies died, they were trapped inside a mountain, never to die until their oath was fulfilled.
This is a small, small part of the entire Lord of the Rings universe, but it is potent.
Oh man.
It is so important to the movies as well as to the book narrative that we had to put it up. We're Lord of the Rings fans. We love the books. We love the movies. We think that Peter Jackson did a phenomenal job, and we love how this is expanded now into the Rings of Power series.
So there is a fan theory that I kind of buy into because
We'll see.
I've been trying to figure out, like, I'm one of those people, I like to try to track where people might go. And there's this character. His name is Theo. Now, a lot of people have thought, well, he's got the name Theo, so obviously he's gonna go and found Rohan, Theoden, all that jazz.
And he may.
And he may. I buy that as well. Like, this character could go many places, but I like the more interesting option, which is that Theo grows up to be this king, the king of the dead. Because he's already friends with Isildur, so why on earth would he not be more than willing to make this promise to Isildur once Isildur becomes king?
Mm-hmm.
And then for whatever reason, like there may be very good reasons that he had to break this promise, but to come and aid him. Or he may have just been a coward. This character has been shown to not have the greatest moral compass,
Right.
as evidenced by the fact he didn't get rid of the stupid black blade that caused Mount Doom. Like, if it weren't for him, Sauron wouldn't have risen to power or started his rise back to power. So, at least as far as the lore in Rings of Power goes. So a lot of people think Theo is going to grow up to become the king of the dead, because right now he's kind of the only power in the Southlands. So it makes complete sense to me for him to, like, once this particular group breaks away from Numenor, for him to kind of start a little kingdom there at the borders of Mordor, and wind up being the king of the dead. I think that would be so interesting. The only problem is I don't know how they would manage to make that happen, because Rings of Power is probably only going to go up to the first defeat of Sauron by Isildur, and this happens after.
Well,
So
that brings up a great point. Please make sure that you watch Rings of Power on Amazon Prime. There has been some calculated pushback on this show. We think it's doing a good job given what it's done.
it may not be 1-to-1 with what Tolkien did, But that's the beauty of an adaptation. It doesn't have to be 1-to-1. And the creators did straight up say, we're not trying to do a 1-to-1 with what Tolkien did. We
Right.
are taking the basis of what Tolkien gave us and expanding it.
Yeah.
And
It
they were
is.
just about it.
It's a good show.
That.
It's a good show.
It's a great
It
show.
it does a lot of what the Star Wars, Clone Wars television shows. It does for Lord of the Rings. What those do for Star Wars.
All right. Moving right along at number 5, we have Malcolm Crowe from The Sixth Sense. He is Bruce Willis' ghost in I See Dead People.
I don't know if I'll never forget.
Spoilers! We're sorry.
Yeah,
If you
I'll
don't know
never
this twist, you
forget
haven't paid attention.
seeing this film at the theater and really not getting it until the end. And you're revealed this. This is M. Night Shyamalan's.
Shyamalan.
Okay, thank you. This is his peak, in
Mhm.
my opinion.
What's bad is that this was his first film.
He came along and did Signs with Mel Gibson, and I thought it was okay. But this I think was his peak, and this was great storytelling. And Bruce Willis did a phenomenal job. And Haley Joel Osment
Mhm.
did a great job as a child actor alongside of Bruce Willis, and it
Donnie
is.
Wahlberg actually plays the man that kills Bruce
I
Willis.
forgot about that. Yeah,
Because you can't recognize him.
right,
But I
right.
think this was his first acting role as well.
I don't know about that, but it is just an iconic film that everybody knows now. Everybody knows.
Yeah, if you
What?
don't,
So
if you don't know this twist, you've kind of been hiding under a rock.
yeah, if you've never seen the film,
But what's fun? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
go ahead. If you've never seen the film, go watch it because of where Bruce Willis is now in his life. This shows you that he's more than just Die Hard.
Mhm.
That his moonlighting television show wasn't a fluke, and that he can actually act.
Mhm.
And it's yeah, just go watch it for no other reason than Bruce Willis is where he is now in his life.
What's fun is watching it and then going back and watching all the details.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
How he never actually truly interacts with the people. Like
Right.
it's so interesting to me to go back and watch after the fact. Like this was such a well thought out movie.
Yeah.
With such a well thought out twist, which unfortunately M. Night Shyamalan has been spending the last 20-ish plus years trying desperately to recapture.
Hey,
And he's not been succeeding quite as well. Or if he has been succeeding, it's been in hilariously awful
or
ways.
it's just not the kind of film we like.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
I
may
mean,
like what he's done in the last 20 years.
Seen most of Shyamalan's stuff.
Other than Signs and
Sixth Sense.
Sixth Sense, I've not seen anything else the man's done. So, but credit to him, he continues to make movies that continue to do box office, and he has a genre in which he's known for.
All right, moving right along. We are going old school with this next one. We have Marion and George Kirby, the ghosts from Top.
Now, you may not have a clue what we're talking about here, but this is Cary Grant and Carol Lombard, I think. That doesn't sound right, but Kristen's gonna look it up real quick.
While you keep talking.
This is Cary Grant as a ghost, and it is one of his earlier films. It has to be seen in context of
Constance Bennett.
Constance Bennett. Thank you, Constance Bennett, and it has to be seen in the context of when it was filmed, or else you'll get absolutely nothing about the film. It is one of our family's favorites. We introduced the children to it. Tammy and I got introduced to it in 80s, I want to say is 86, whenever Cary Grant died, and fell in love with it. It's funny. It shows the upper class of its time. It shows the faults and failures of the upper class of their time. And it features Uncle Willie from Philadelphia Story as the titular Topper character, who is haunted by George and Marion Kirby.
To ask, isn't the premise basically this couple died and then Topper and his wife move into their house and they're haunting him, trying to get him out? Like it's kind of the plot of Beetlejuice.
Just go to imdb.com and find out, or wait on American Movie Classics or Turner Classic Movies. It shows up typically in the Halloween time. Topper with Cary Grant and Constance
Bennett.
Bennett.
All right, we're up to number 3. We have Shoeless Joe Jackson from Field of Dreams. Now, I do also want to mention pretty much every baseball player in this movie is also a ghost, I believe, because they all walk into the cornfield at the end.
Right. We included this up there because it is one of Kevin Costner's best films.
If you build it, he will come.
Yeah.
He will come.
Yeah,
This is
it's
the most
oftentimes misquoted.
misquoted
Yeah.
lines. They
Yeah.
say they will come. It's he will come.
This is just it is that film that you just embrace because it's a good story.
It's a warm. This sounds weird, but it's a warm story.
Yeah,
Does that make sense?
sure.
It's one of those, like, the whole time it's going on, you kind of feel like you're wrapping a blanket around yourself. Like, it's a comforting.
It is
story.
Kevin Costner's love for baseball is just
He's been in at least 2 movies.
in Field of Dreams,
Love of the Game.
Love of the Game, one of my favorite all-time films. And he just the storytelling in Field of Dreams is just perfect. I want to say it's based off of,
right?
but yeah, James Earl Jones is in the movie as well. And because he's an alive contemporary
Mhm.
of some of the baseball players.
He's
that
like
are
a
ghosts.
reporter, I think. Like, he was a reporter at the time that all the ghost baseball players
Right.
were. But Shoeless Joe is the main one. I think he's the one that plays catch with Kevin at the end. I could be wrong.
Ray Liotta.
But Shoeless Joe and Field of Dreams in and of itself is just an iconic film that sadly does not get talked about enough anymore.
Especially,
aside
you're right.
from being quoted.
Yeah,
Misquoted.
Misquoted. You know, it is. Go watch the film. I mean, baseball season. It's kind of in the off season right now. Go watch it, and for love of the game.
Moving right along, we're up to number 2, and at number 2, honestly, number 2 is probably the scariest mamma jamma on our list. We have the Headless Horseman. Here you go. You can have this.
It's been around
since Washington Irving wrote the book. I believe you said it was in 1820.
Yeah, 1820, I believe. This, I will never ever forget the first version of Disney where Bing Crosby is singing about Ichabod Crane.
The Headless Horseman, he's the worst.
And I just was totally freaked out as a kid.
There's that scene, the iconic scene with the demon horse and the ghost with the flaming pumpkin in his hand. Oh my days.
It's scary as a kid. It's really scary as a kid.
It's still scary as an adult. I watched it 2 years ago.
The Legend of Sleepy Hollow has just
there's a
for
Tim
the years.
Burton film.
There's a television
There's
show.
a television show. I think there are countless films of it.
There are several, anyway.
And the Headless Horseman, like, he is one of the more iconic literature villains that is still used in tons of things or referenced in tons of things now. I think the most recent thing was probably Sleepy Hollow on Fox.
Right.
That had a crossover with Bones, and it just ended like only a few years ago, I feel like.
The cool thing about it is Disney did a very good job of applauding or saluting Washington Irving because Disney kept it as a short in a I want to say a trilogy,
two-part.
perhaps.
No, it was Ichabod and Mr. Toad.
Ichabod and Mr. Toad. That's right.
Which Mr. Toad is based off of Wind in the Willows.
Right. I don't remember the author of that one. But anyway, it was originally a short story that Washington Irving wrote, and I would be very, very interested to see a modern day, especially with all the CGI, AI obviously involved as well, in what modern Hollywood could do with the good story plus the scary. Not let the scary be the thing that carries the film. And you wouldn't even have to be grotesque about it, but you could be super scary, but have a good story to go with it,
All right. But yeah, Headless Horseman is terrifying. Again, dude, you can have this one and you'll be good. But all right. Last but definitely not least, our number 1 is The Ghosts of the Christmas Carol.
We hope that you're seeing the trend towards literature. Yes, this is mostly about film and television, but everything gets its beginnings, if you will, in great classic literature. And Charles Dickens wrote the greatest ghost story of all times.
It gets referenced in a song, "Scary Ghost Stories and Tales of the Glories of Christmas."
Exactly.
Time of the year.
It's so associated with Christmas because of its time setting
Story.
that you don't think of it as a ghost story. And I'll never
There's no
forget.
less than 4 ghosts.
I'll never forget the first time I saw the musical iteration, Scrooge. Some of that stuff is scary, especially if you get the DVD version, which keeps in the edited stuff that they never showed on television.
Scrooge Goes to Hell
The
stuff.
Scrooge Goes to Hell stuff. Right,
But
exactly.
between Jacob Marley, Ghost of Christmas Past, Ghost of Christmas Future, and Ghost of Christmas Present, got a little out of order there, excuse me. But there's at least 4 ghosts if you don't include, like, if we're talking about Scrooge, there's like a whole section of ghosts flying around, I think, when he and the Ghost of Christmas Present are out and about.
Right.
I
And
could be wrong.
and
But
here's
I
another
think.
thing. This was also written as a short story
Mhm.
by Charles Dickens, and you have to remember the time period. I think this one was 1813, the time period in which
It was after we looked it up. It was 1840,
34,
43,
okay, that's
43,
it,
or
1843.
somewhere close to there.
Right. It's a newer
It,
20 or 30 years of
it was
Washington
after
Irving's
Sleepy Hollow.
Sleepy Hollow, and it is one of those things that has come to, I mean, TV and movies. It is everybody, much like The Sixth Sense, knowing what's going to happen. Everybody knows this storyline.
Something I will say, I don't think there is necessarily a bad version of the Christmas Carol. Like, because of how simple the story is, it's almost impossible to ruin. Because of how good it is, you can't really. Yes, there are lesser versions. Like there's a Hallmark version with Kelsey Grammer. There's a
Necessary.
Patrick
So
Stewart version.
that's very good.
There's a Muppet version where Michael Caine is Scrooge.
So I mean, you
There's
can
the
see
Silver City version.
there's the Silver Dollar City version, which is very good. It's under an hour or just over an hour, and the music is very good. This If
The
you want to
ghosts
talk about
themselves.
iconic ghosts, these have to be your number
Oh
one.
yeah, Jacob Marley is terrifying. The Ghost of Christmas Future is. I mean, he's the Grim Reaper. Let's just be honest.
Right.
Like he's decked out like the Grim Reaper.
Yep.
And
In
then,
all of the movie
and
versions.
then you've got the Christmas Past and Present, who they change. They're the ones that probably get the most change depending on what version you're looking
Sure,
at.
that's true from
Because
the original storyline. Yeah,
the way you can do them is a little bit more fluid.
right.
But you know Marley has to have the chains, and most people have just accepted Grim Reaper. I will never forget, though, the reason I'm scared of Pete from Disney is because of Mickey's Christmas Carol. Him tossing Scrooge McDuck into that grave scared the heck out of that
Yeah.
fiery grave.
Let's
Scared the heck out of me as a kid.
let's face it. If somebody thinks they can make money on a retelling of a story, they're going to do it. Hence, the cover is never as good as the original.
Bingo cards, ladies and gentlemen. Bingo cards.
But they all feature ghosts, and there is a variety. Find your favorite story telling of this classic tale and eat it up this October because it's more of a ghost story than it is a Christmas story.
Tis true.
Except for the fact of the whole redemption of mankind and that kind of thing.
It's both. It's the Nightmare Before Christmas before Nightmare Before Christmas came about.
I don't know about that,
It's
but anyway,
it's Christmas.
I wouldn't put Tim Burton with Charles Dickens. Ever,
I'm just saying, ghost story.
Yeah, I think it would be interesting to see Tim Burton do a version.
No.
I think it would be fascinating to see. Hey, Mr. Burton.
Nope.
Come visit us in the CrossFit Garage, and we'll give you the leg up on how you tell a Christmas Carol.
No, thank you. But that's our list. What did you guys think? Again, we know that there are probably several we left off just because we're not familiar with the horror genre as much as some of you guys might be. So please, if you guys have some favorite movie ghosts, and since I've recently just mentioned Nightmare Before Christmas, it occurs to me there's a ghost dog in there we could have mentioned.
Yep.
But Zero, I want to say his name is. I don't remember. But mention your favorite film ghost or movie ghost or book ghost down in the comments below. I love reading your comments, so please leave me one.
And remember, there is comfort in Mass. So Come and be a part of the Cross and Kim family, and you won't be as scared.
And until next week, when Spooky Month continues, I'm Kristen.
And I'm Randy.
Bye.